In this video, we took two of the most powerful 8-inch subwoofers by Sundown Audio and Skar Audio. And if you would like to know what they look like in an open air bench test, stick around. We got that and more coming right up. What is going on, guys? It's the Budget Bass Head. Welcome back to the channel. Right now, what you guys are seeing is the 8-inch subwoofer leaderboard. This leaderboard does consist of 4 different categories. We have the $100 category, the $150 category, the $200 category, and the $300 category. Coming in at number 1 in the $100 category is the Skar Audio MA-8. I did pick it up for 100 bucks. Coming in top of the list at the $150 category is the Skar Audio ZVX-8. Picked it up for 170 bucks. In the $200 category, we have the Sundown Audio SA-8. This is the .V3. Picked it up for 210 bucks. And in the $300 category, we have the Sundown Audio X8. This is also the .V3. Picked it up for 290 bucks. For all the new guys, if you enjoy car audio DIY builds, comparisons, and competitions, please consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. For all my regular guys, you guys already know how we do it. We're gonna be pinning these two guys up against one another. And yeah, I know it's a significant price difference, but these are the 4 that I have to work with right now, and you guys did request this. So moving on, we have the Skar Audio MA-8, once again purchased for 100 bucks. I did pick this up over at Skar's website. It has a max power rating at 800 watts, RMS power rating of 400 watts. It has a 2-inch dual 2-ohm configuration for the voice coil. Its competitor is the Sundown Audio SA-8. I did pick this up over at Sundown's yard sale, believe it or not. I did not pay the full purchasing price of this because at the yard sales, they do not charge you the complete purchase price. A little bit more of that in a later video when I do my coverage of the Sundown Audio yard sale. But just know this is a yard sale item. It's fully functional. Retail price is 210 bucks. It has an RMS power rating of 500 watts. It's also a dual 2 configuration with a 2-inch voice coil. Okay, so the way we do things over here is we're going to be doing a complete unboxing of these products. And secondly, we're going to be doing a complete bench test, free aired open bench test that is, of both products. So to any guys in the comments that have seen an unboxing before of these two products, please be respectful of the guys who have not. I'm not gonna skimp out and leave them out of the picture. I want them to see exactly what the contents of these packages hold. And coming up first is gonna be the Skar Audio MA-8. And there we go. You do get a sticker with this guy. Keep in mind that I did purchase these Skar products that I have on the list directly from Skar at the same time. So they did come, normally they would come dual boxed, but this one was not. This is the user manual. The user manual actually have plenty of information for the DIY guys who would like to tune their own enclosures and build their own enclosures, or just for anyone who would like to know more about their item that they purchased. As you guys can see, it does come with this type foam. I would prefer this type foam over styrofoam any day of the week, but to me, styrofoam is better than simple cardboard, which you see here, Skar has actually done both. Good job for that. You got the thinner lining there to protect the cone of the subwoofer, and they got the mold there for the high roll surround of this subwoofer. You really want to see that coming from your manufacturers, guys. You don't want to buy something from a manufacturer that just simply throws it in a box and have your stuff moving all around. Again, this is a dual 2 ohms, 400 watt RMS power. This is what the box looked like. If you've ever bought anything from Skar, you're very familiar with this layout. And there it is. The bottom does have a mold for the magnet. Good job, Skar. Moving on, as you guys can see, this subwoofer is encased in plastic. The plastic wasn't sealed, as far as some manufacturers put tape on them. This protects the subwoofer from the elements in case something does happen to the exterior of the box. It'll be protected against moisture, dust, things of that nature. And unwrapping it, as you guys can see, very, very handsome little guy right here, man, in my opinion. I really like the look of high roll surrounds, big beefy surrounds on little bitty subwoofers like this. It kind of gives you that impression that some of the larger subwoofers just can't achieve. Even though it's the same size of a surround as you would see on a 12 or a 10, it doesn't make the same impression as when you see it on a smaller guy. And this is a foam surround, dual stitching, plus glue, as you guys can see from here. It's supposed to be competition grade cone there, material. Pretty handsome little guy, like I stated previous. I really like the look and feel of this little guy. Coming up next, we're going to be getting a closer look at the basket, voice coil, and tinsels. To be honest with you, looking at this, even though this is the MA series from Skar Audio, it really put me in the mind of the EVL. The way the basket is constructed, that's what it looks like to me. And there's a look at the coil right there. This is a copper coil, 2-inch voice coil that is. And there's the push terminals. Push terminals, I believe, are 10 gauge, if I'm not mistaken. So I would definitely have to use some banana plugs or something to get 8 gauge power wire through those to utilize my 8 gauge power wire, that is. This little guy has a FS of 49 hertz, pretty high, but it is an 8-inch subwoofer. Like I said, dual 2 ohm, QTS of 0.58, meaning that it is it's very suited for sealed enclosures as well, with a QTS of that high by rule of thumb, that is. There's a look at the boot and the magnet on it. There's an underlook of the cone. This is a non-pressed paper cone. More insignia there by Skar Audio on the boot. Very good job with that. Looks very, very nice. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you guys to get a better look at the voice coil. Slightly overhung, which seems to be the go-to design of a lot of subwoofers these days. And it's round wire, not flat wound. I said that this was non-pressed paper cone, but getting a closer look at it, it looks semi-pressed to me. But anyway, good job nonetheless. Try to get up in here and give you guys another look at the spider. Since this is a small guy, I had to hold it for you and put some zoom on it. And this is what it looks like. Very, very stiff surround as well. As you guys, stiff suspension, as you guys will see later on. The suspension on this is extremely stiff. All right, so here we go with the magnet. Beefy magnet. This is a 122 ounce magnet on an 8. Very, very impressive. This magnet can easily fit a 12. In some cases, 15s, depending on what level, what tier of subwoofer. Nice. And there's another look at the stitching, and you guys can see right there, I'm pressing good and hard on this thing, and it's barely moving. Very, very strong cone there. I don't know because it's so small or what, but this thing is impressive. And now I'm gonna attempt to get this boot off for you guys. Let's see if we can try that again, because it was on there pretty good. I had to put the camera down. So excuse me if I'm in the way. Let me just, there we go. get this guy on off here for you, and there it is. Let you guys get a closer look at the magnet. 2 big dual slugs there. Nice. Like I said, I've seen some 12-inch subwoofers that did not have magnets this big on it. Once again, the motor weight is 122 ounces. Frequency responsive, this guy is 30 to 350 hertz, so it is truly a subwoofer. Sensitivity 82.4. Not as efficient as most subwoofers, but it's an 8. And you are going to have to put some power through this guy in order to get the cone moving. 12.5 millimeters of X-Max on an 8, and you guys can see why, because of that big old butt. Right now, what we're going to be doing is looking at some of the suspension here. And look at me press down on this little guy. I'm a fairly large guy, y'all. Trust me, I'm kind of leaning in on this little dude, and he's barely giving. I'm really giving it some stuff here. So yeah, you're gonna have to. This is probably gonna have to go through a break-in period. How long, I don't know. But we're gonna begin that right now with this open air bench test. First, I'm gonna give you guys a rundown of the setup. This is the Dayton Audio SA-1000. The SA-1000 is a server, a rack amplifier by Dayton Audio, AB technology, class AB technology that is. And here's a better look at the little guy on the bench. I do have foam there to protect it and to keep it from rolling all around on the table. Over there, what you guys are looking at is my jumper cable I'm going to be using later on in series wiring. And right here is my tablet that I'm going to be using as a sound source. Next up is going to be series wiring. Remember, well, I didn't specify that my amplifier is only stable at 4 ohms. This is a home amplifier, a home audio amplifier. It's stable at 4 and 8 ohms. So what I'm going to be doing is wire this guy up to 4 ohms in series, because this is a dual 2 configuration. So you want to wire these here, the voice coils end to end to build the resistance within. And that's what I'm doing now, connecting the negative to the positive and then running each negative and positive of coil to the amplifier. Very simple. Banana plugs come really in handy in this case. And yes, this is 8 gauge wire that I was talking about previously. Right now, what we're going to be doing is a bass sweep from 150 hertz down to 20 hertz. I'm going to get some volume for you guys so you can hear it. And there she go. And just being honest with you guys, it did bottom out at around 40 something hertz, in the lower 40s. It did bottom out, but keep in mind I'm sending like 800 watts through this little guy. He's not even rated at that, but just to keep everything fair, I tried to run the same test on all the subwoofers just to see what it can do. And this little guy did bottom out a bit, and I had to adjust the gains down to about a 500 watts just to be fair for the little guy. I didn't want to tear it up before we actually get it into the box. Now keep in mind, next up is the box test for this, and we're going to be seeing what it sounds like. I have a SPL meter from SPL Labs, and you guys are going to be seeing a debut of that device on the channel as well. But as of right now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving on to the unboxing of the Sundown. So this is going to be the unboxing of the Sundown SA-V3. This is also dual 2 configuration. It has an RMS rating of 500 watts. And let me get you, I'm gonna get you guys stats pulled up here in a minute. Just give me a moment while I adjust. And there you guys go. This here has an FS rating of 38 Hertz, has a QTS rating of 0.3. Very, very good. That's very ported friendly, unlike the Skar we previously unboxed. And this guy does come dual boxed. Here's a better look at it. And as you guys can see, that blue tab got the word bad written on it. I was scared when I seen this. But keep in mind, this is a yard sale item. Okay, this is coming out of Sundown's yard sale. I was very excited about unboxing it. I've never had a little 8 with the reputation that this guy has on the internet. People love this guy and they say it's a high performer. So we'll see about that on the bench. So right now, like I said, it's dual boxed. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy open for you, get it orientated correctly. And this is something that I don't like about Sundown at this point. I like the fact that they use styrofoam other than just simple cardboard, but this stuff gets everywhere and it cracks so easily. Look at that. I had this same issue in a previous unboxing of Sundown using this styrofoam. The exact same issue. And I thought that maybe, you know, it was just that one-off shipping incident where maybe it got dropped or something like that. But I'm kind of starting to think that this is just the characteristics of this stuff. And look at how messy it is. I really don't like that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky. Enough of that. What we're gonna do now, once again, it did come in plastic. Good job for Sundown for doing that. Because like I said earlier, it does protect it from the elements. This thing has a sensitivity of 82 dB, not the most sensitive, but typically you're gonna need some power to push a subwoofer such as this guy right here. Very, very beautiful subwoofer, man. I really like the look and feel of this guy. Really digging it. Look at this. Standing tall, little old bitty guy, just with authority, he just stands there. Look at the tooling on the basket. I'm really digging it. Here's a look at the push terminals. If you guys are wondering, like, why would they give you a discount on a yard sale item? Sometimes it's a small defects in the subwoofer that you, the average Joe, probably wouldn't even notice. Like in this case, I did notice that one of the push terminals was a bit clicky, and I was wondering, did they really put this in a yard sale because of this little clicky? Let me see if I can get you guys to hear that sound right quick. I'm gonna turn it back up. You hear that? It's clicky. But the other one is perfectly fine. And I was wondering to myself, is that one of the defects in this subwoofer that got it sent to the yard sale? Possibly. I mean, it could be premature failure if you send this out to a customer, so I'm guessing probably so. But this ain't about the yard sale, it's about the unboxing. Spider looks damn good. Look at the tensile leads on this thing. I do believe that the tensile leads on this thing can handle probably 2,000 watts and better. That's what you see on 2,000 watt RMS subwoofers, is tensile leads such as this. But this thing here is coming in at an 8-inch, 500 watts RMS. I don't think so. I think this thing is way more than that. Once again, there's a look at the surround. Very high roll surround. It's even a higher roll surround than the Skar had. Dual stitching, same as the Skar. And there's the insignia of Sundown Audio right there on the dust cap. Pretty impressive. It also has a competition grade cone as well. More raised letterings on the surround there. Pretty impressive, man. I like the attention to detail that Sundown paid in this little guy. Next up is gonna be the magnet boot. Look at that. Now I'm gonna tell you something I don't like. I really don't like the style of venting here on the magnet. I just think, I mean, come on, if you can tool all those little small ones in there for the voice coil, go ahead and give us one for the vent pole as well. I'm not calling them lazy or anything, it's just that I've seen better at this price point. And here we go for a better look at the cone here. It looks like non-pressed paper cone. Yeah, good job. I like the stance of this little guy. Pretty cool in my opinion. Here's another look. I was trying to get you guys a peek at the voice coil. It's just kind of hard to see in those little bitty holes right there. Coupled with the fact that they didn't really do a great job on the pole venting. They should have put more venting around the basket in my opinion. And I'm trying to get the boot off for you guys. This was a struggle because Sundown really molds those things perfect. Look at the magnet on this thing. I mean, that is huge. That thing is huge. And yes, this is the SA-8 by Sundown Audio. Two big massive slugs. So if you're wondering where all that reputation come from, here it is. It comes from this. Whole lot of power. 500 watts RMS. Yeah, that's conservatively rated in my opinion. Gets a thumb up from the budget bass head. All right, so we got this guy on the bench and we're gonna be doing exactly the same thing. As you guys can see, I do got some new wiring here. This is some wiring I picked up at Skar Audio. Gave me a really good price on it. OFC flex cable. And this is 10 gauge cable right here. Next up is gonna be the series wiring. Same jumper, 10 gauge as well. And once again, it's the same scenario as far as this being a dual 2 ohm and my amplifier only being stable at 4 ohms. So I wire everything to series, bring it up to 4 ohms, and get the Dayton Audio SA-1000 on the bench. So right now what we're going to be doing is a bass sweep. And this is going to be... and that's 20 hertz. Gets a thumb up. Now this guy here just seemed as though to me it can take way more power than it actually was displaying here. And here's a little slow-mo piece for you guys at 20 hertz. And if you guys did notice any mechanical noises and things of that nature, it's a bit of chuffing coming from this guy. So just know that, you know, the things I spoke about earlier as far as the holes in the back of it and not having that pole vent does constitute a bit of chuffing at high excursions. So just keep that in mind if you are the type that like to invert your subwoofers. You know, if that's a big issue for you, just keep that in mind before purchasing. But enough of that. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be moving onward to okay, we've seen that. I'm sorry, let me get back. Yeah, so what's going on here is that I felt as though this little guy can do a little bit more than what it actually did. So what I did, I bumped up the power on it, and I actually gave this guy a yeah, so I felt as though this little guy could actually handle a whole lot more power than it was actually being displayed there on the bench. On the bench previously, I gave it a sweep of about 500 watts is what I was giving it because of the previous bottoming out of the Skar. So I was like, well, I'm not going to break my subs. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 500 watt sweep and be fair throughout the test. However, this guy he didn't laugh at the 500, but it seemed like he could take a whole lot more. I mean, it is twice the price of the Skar, and I'm trying to see, where does this guy live up? How would this guy perform if I put a little bit more power to it? So I'm going to set the gains for about 800 watts as I do on my 12-inch subwoofers, and I'm going to be leaving it there and seeing if I can give this guy a test of that. Now I want you guys to see what it looks like with an 800 watt peaking at 1,000 and some hertz. See how it performs under those conditions. And that's 20 hertz. This thing, man, guys, this thing is a monster. I know I don't supposed to even be saying that because the competition isn't even over, but hey, you guys decide who moves up and down in the charts. Right now, I'm just pinning these guys against each other for fun, just to be honest with you. But man, when I say that I am impressed by this little guy right here, man, I am impressed by this little guy right here, man. It got me wondering, like, what would 2 or 3 of these things look like in the trunk? You know, now don't get me wrong, the Skar did well, but hey, in my opinion right now, this guy here is really performing. But the question is, okay, this is the kicker. The question is this guy worth the extra $100 that you spend on it, opposed from the Skar? Is this one worth it? That's the question that you have to ask yourself, because it is twice the price of the Skar. So when you're talking about, you know, performance, price per performance, is this Sundown Audio product worth the extra 100 and some bucks? That's what you got to ask yourself. That's pretty much why I'm bringing these type of videos to you guys. You know, Sundown has a hell of a name for itself, and so does Skar. But when it comes down to your pocket, to your money, what do you guys think about this right here? Is it worth the money? Until then, if you like car audio, DIY builds, comparisons, and competitions, please consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.